Okay, I know what you're thinking. Oh man, life is meaningless, blah blah. Or, man, don't we already have enough people reviewing roller coasters? Well, too bad, I do what I want. Titan is a whopping 245-foot tall roller coaster with a 255-foot drop located at Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington and opened April 27, 2001. But this ain't your typical hyper coaster, you see. Most hypers consist of an out and back layout with consecutive floater hills, which means the ride is mainly focused on airtime, but are not usually super intense. Titan, however, is the opposite of this. It is a high intensity experience with two incredibly forceful helixes and one airtime hill, which is really, really good, despite what some coaster hottie says. No homo. But I digress. It is time for an element by element breakdown of this beast. This ride starts with a 90-degree turn out of the station, starting the 245-foot ascent up the lift hill. And at this point, you'll notice how goddamn loud those anti-rollbacks are, and give up any attempt at conversation with the person next to you. The lift is actually pretty fast, and it doesn't take too long to get to the top, where the chain slows down just a little before it crests. You look down this incredibly steep drop of 60 degrees, but despite its shallowness, it does its job of plunging it down 255 feet through the tunnel at the bottom and reaching the max speed of 85 miles per hour. In the front seat, you don't really get any airtime on the drop, but towards the back, you do get some float going down. Once you pull up from the drop and out of the tunnel, you begin to climb the massive turnaround. It isn't the craziest element out there, but you can get some fun lateral G's on that turnaround before you dive back down into the airtime hill. This airtime hill is very consistent. I've never had a ride on this where I didn't get any airtime. Every time it provides some strong floater. Feels like you're being lifted out of your seat to the heavens. I would guesstimate probably negative 2.5 to negative 1.5 Gs on that hill, but I could be way off. This is just me guessing. Once you're done floating out of your seat, it is time to get absolutely pinned to your seat as if Satan himself is trying to drag you through the train to hell because of that one time you searched for Millennium Force feet pics. You have reached the most intense element on this ride. A massive 540-degree upward helix. I say massive a lot. You're in this thing a long time. I have never gotten a ride where I've not grayed out on this. I've even had a few where I almost black out. You start out this helix with some really high positive Gs, and because it's an upward helix with a constant radius, it slowly eases off the Gs as it loses speed, but it does not lose speed fast enough for you to not gray out. And it's usually when I get to the end of this helix when my vision finally fully returns. Now that that's over, you hit the
dummy's head hits the B-pillar and roof rail.
Yes, this mid-course stops hard. If you ride this thing, remember to brace yourself on the seat in front of you when you reach this. If you're still conscious enough to do so after that helix, that is. And yeah, I know, mid-courses suck and all, but that allows them to be able to run 3 trains during the crowded hell that is Fright Fest. And I've heard that apparently when they do weight testing at the beginning of the season, they run it with the mid-course turned off and it supposedly pulls 7 Gs in the later portion of the ride. Coming off the mid-course in the front seat, you get banked to the side into the curved drop and you just hang there like... And then you continue down this drop and through a banked turn, which leads you into the next intense moment of the ride. This helix is another 540, but rather than going up, it goes down, which means it starts off intense and then gets even more intense by the end of it. And at the most intense moment of this element is the on-ride photo, which allows for some great photos of faces melting and people blacking out. You pull out of this helix and go through a left bank turn, followed by a right, and then slam to a stop on the final brake run. I really like this ride. It is forceful, smooth, and has a good moment of floater. Only cons are the harsh banks and the filler elements like those bank turns that I just glossed over earlier in this review, but overall it is a great experience for those who like high G-forces. I give this ride a solid 7 or 8. Now that that dumb inside joke is out of the way, I say about a 7.5. Also, another fun fact about this ride is that it opened the exact same day I was born. So, now you know how old I am.